Welcome back. I hope you made a cup of tea and is ready for the next match, because we are here. No tea for us, but I've got Todd and Pig joining me on the analysis desk. A good start for Heromarine here as he picks up the first win of the day, but now goes up against a player that he's met a lot in the past here, Todd. He's going up against Mana.
Yeah, but first of all, I think it's pretty good that you're back with us here at the desk after having lost your passion for some time, missed Home Story Cup, didn't cast for Challenger.
Nope.
Because you were on vacation.
Yep.
Some great passion there. So you reached within and found some, I guess, some newfound passion and came back here at the desk. So I just wanted to say it's good to have you back.
Well, Pig, it's good to know that it's just me and you that actually play StarCraft here and follows it. I don't know, how's Heroes of the Storm going?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, okay, cool. Good to know.
I'm Grandmaster on StarCraft, by the way.
Are you?
You?
Did you get into Grandmaster? Yeah, I saw Roddy was ranked higher than you.
No, he's not, actually.
There it is. Always going to have more and more banter coming out from Todd throughout the weekend. But yeah, above average cast. And to be honest, I was lying before. You did great. Kalaris was the one sub-average that made it average overall. If you guys agree with me, which I'm sure you might not, do hashtag IEM and use it throughout the weekend. We might read some tweets, maybe even read some out for you guys. So make sure to follow on Facebook as well, facebook.com/IEM for all the Intel Extreme Masters action. But moving on to our next match then, it's Heromarine versus Mana. Let's first talk about Mana. He's got a fantastic win record against Heromarine. He's kept him out of Premier League twice already this season. And he continues to do super well against Heromarine. And Mana is a player that we have to be looking at within this open bracket to be advancing, right?
There is a good chance, but I feel like this is not as much a sure thing as like some people might think, because when these two go into a series, like you can feel that Mana, he has a lot of experience, especially in the best of 5. Like he's going to be mixing it up a lot, you know, doing some special builds here and there, and like doing well no matter it's cheesing or macroing. But at the same time, they've had very close series in the past. I think it was like 3-2 when they met previously, and like I said before, like I can never say that Proto is going to be favored against Terran. You know, like it's that side of me. Maybe Pig will be a little bit less biased being Zerg.
What do you think,
Pig?
I
mean, looking at the two players, Mana is kind of the monkey on Heromarines back right now. It's 6-1 in sets, but it's kind of strange because I feel like that's not necessarily a reflection of their overall performance recently. If you look at Heromarine, he's been getting better and better. He's made it into Premier, but there's been so many performances where Mana has just kind of come and found a way to sneak a win, especially last season, season 2. Yeah, it looked like Heromarine was going to win 3-2. It was so close. And then Mana just like clung on, started getting some DT counterattacks in, and he resurrected that game. I remember Kalaris was losing his mind casting that Challenger match, and I was watching it at home thinking like, how did you do this? And I think that plays into their history. Like Mana's managed to beat him so many times that I think he's got a real mental edge going into this.
But, you know, Heromarines had a great warm-up here coming into this because he's played on the stage already. Wasn't the most difficult opponent, but it's more of a sit-down. And,
I'm not sure.
Not so much a warm-up physically, but more of a warm-up, okay, I'm on the stage, I've got the lights and the camera in front of me, that type of warm-up. And he's coming into this, and he must be gunning for that victory, being denied Premier League twice, being denied $5,000 twice in a row. This is pretty good, right?
Yeah, the thing is, you could feel that he actually like really wanted to win, obviously, against Tarantus. So he used the 3CC, which, you know, as a Protoss, if you kind of forget about it, like I said, it can be very annoying to play against. Now Mana is going to be fully aware that there's a very real possibility that Heromarine does something like that. So he's going to be, you know, scouting a lot, trying to see if it's coming, and maybe throwing in some special build. And if he goes for a gateway all-in, he's actually going to go for the army and kill it and do really well, not like Tarantus. So it's going to be interesting.
All right, well, the game is now loading. We're going to jump straight into it. Which player is coming out on top here as the WCS comes to the Intel Extreme Masters? Let's head to the commentary desk.
Can't wait for this one. I've cast it many a times already, and we are back once again. Moonglade, Heromarine going up against Mana. We've seen some great games from them before.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this one. We just saw Heromarine play pretty impressive TvP against Tarantius.
Yeah.
But kind of went a little one-sided there. I think Mana's going to really change things up as they were talking about 6-1, I believe it was, the set advantage for Mana. So coming into this very confident And yeah, we'll see what Heromarine can do.
Yeah, definitely would have the upper hand in terms of the mental game at least. Mana approached those past series that they've had, or the past couple, sometimes in a very aggressive style. We saw some like very, very early Blink aggressive moves. Oh no, he's... it begins.
It begins. How long can he do it for is what I want to know.
Well, I could get a stopwatch out and we could time it, but I'm not sure production would appreciate it.
Keep going. Don't you stop.
Closer.
Oh.
They just the zoom never ends.
Just keep it there.
We can cast like this.
3 more minutes.
As he now stares at the camera, keeps continuous staring, using those Razer headphones, and now zooming back out slowly. Oh, with the cheeky wink at the end.
Just give him the game.
Yeah.
Game 1.
It's done. It's done.
Mana just won.
Fantastic stuff.
Handsome double.
What a guy. What a guy.
That look, man.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah?
A while, yeah.
He has.
Yes, he has.
He has.
He's remember back in like 2012 when he was able to win a lot of tournaments. Now not so much.
We haven't seen yet too much success from him. He's still a great player. But yeah, he made it to Premier this time around as well, beating Happy, I believe it was 3-2.
Yeah.
So he's got that PVT, just keeps doing work with it. So
keeps rolling.
One of his better matchups for sure.
And very, very soon we're going to be jumping into our first game here between them, as Mana is going to go up against Heromarine once again. They've met each other twice in 2015. WCS Challenger alone, never mind anywhere else. As we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, it will be our blue Protoss. Representing Team Liquid, it is Mana. Deciding to stare at the monitor instead of us for now. No surprises.
Bit disappointed with that one, actually.
Well, yeah. And up to the top left-hand corner, it is our Red Terran representing Team Mouse Sports. It is Heromarine.
Playing that fantastic first series of the day. Warming up with Tarantius.
Yes.
That name is tricky for me.
Yeah?
Not for you.
He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, man, for all I care. I love his name. I think it strikes fear into the heart of his opponents, and then
it does sound like a little bit like a dinosaur. I'll give you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a good name. Better than copying a name of a map is what I did.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Shameful. Shameful.
Yeah. The Moonlight map, right? That's the one that you got it from.
No, it was a map called Moonglade, mate.
Oh,
Moonglade
really?
in Warcraft 3.
I would have never guessed.
Hilarious. My friend.
You made the new Moonlight map, right? I heard.
Oh, Moonlight Madness.
Yeah, that one. You made that.
Yeah, I made that one.
Yeah.
Wasn't anyone else.
No.
It wasn't a map maker on Team Liquid or anything like
No.
that. It was my claim
you.
to fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic map.
I know a lot of people appreciate that.
Shows a lot of balance on that map. You know, tanked her up, so added in again.
You were just off, completely off your mind at that point, and it was like, well, let's make things really hard for people.
Soju is a hell of a liquor, man. I'll tell you that much.
All right.
Or wine, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we can start to get into this game, Claire. Just a little bit. You don't want to get too far, too deep, too early, but Reaper opening. Keeping it simple, keeping it safe.
Yeah, and Mana's already creating himself up to the wall, towards the top here for our Protoss player, just to make sure that he is going to be able to limit a little bit of that movement of the Reaper and have a little bit of a safe spot to tuck them probes in if that Reaper gets a bit cheeky.
Yeah, a little cheeky indeed. I always appreciate a good wall off to stop the Reaper scouting. You know, just a little bit later on. Give you that peace of mind, especially when you have a mothership core to kind of zone it out.
So already this CV's got some good information, not seeing a second gas going down, right? So do you think Heromarine from this point on feels a little bit more comfortable, or how do you think?
Yeah, I think looking at this, he's like, okay, like obviously the tech's going to be a little bit later. He's going for more of an early Nexus than anything else, so he has a little bit of time to sit back and maybe he'd be the one to apply the pressure instead.
Oh, Funker.
Oh, Funker.
It rarely happens, Funker, but I'm sorry.
Kind of expected it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it in the first series, but here we go. He's got to stop all tabbing, man.
He's stabilized. Look at that. Funker has stabilized quite well in this game. And now he'll be able to transition back in so he can catch the probe dying up towards the top right-hand corner. Well played, Funker. There you go. Easy.
Wonderful.
Easy life.
Yeah, he's a fantastic observer. I'm always inspired when I see him, even when he lags up the game.
Yeah.
Here we go. The Reaper Scout coming in. Not going to see too much that he wouldn't be expecting already. The Nexus going down, a later second gas as the game slowly progresses. And the factory for Heromarine.
Once again, that Reaper's just scouting out on the very edge of the Nexus and can technically try and loop around. It's almost a mirror image, really, of the previous game that we saw between Heromarine and Tarantius. Just with, you know, a slight ironing out from Mana's side of things with getting that Nexus before the second gas. So we're expecting good things of Mana, I would say, in the series, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, I was sitting next to Pit Drogo in the audience while the first series was going on, and he was kind of making some comments about, you know, some of the delays in the build order from Tarantius. So I think Mana would probably be a much more polished player in this sort of matchup. So I'm definitely going to see maybe a little bit more of an advanced PvT here. Look at that scout, actually. He gets everything he needs to see. Beautifully done.
Yeah, some of the units were a little bit out of spot there compared to where they were for Tarantius in the previous game. And getting that next to the Twilight Council scout is good because in the end, Mana really, really does favor his Blink play. He can play it very aggressive if he wants to sometimes.
Certainly so. It's also going to give him like the ability to defend early on, early drops with a number of Stalkers if they're in position. It's always a helpful thing to have, and that robo follow-up. It's very standard sort of play. If I was to think back to careers, this is kind of like the opening that we always see CJ Hero do. Like he's known for his Blink Stalkers more than anything else. He'll always open this way so he can like defensively have Blink Stalkers on the map to stop drops and that robo follow-up just in case the mines actually get planned and he needs detection.
Yeah, and let's think about the state of the mind that these players are in right now. You were a pro gamer for a long time. If you're going up against someone who has this kind of like win record against you going into an important tournament, what kind of effect would that have on someone like Heromarine here, do you think?
Well, it's certainly, you're looking uphill, that's for sure. It's like, well, this is a really hard match. He has my number. It can even be stylistically, like one player can just do so well against another player, which you kind of would not expect just because of the way they think is just a little bit different, and it just catches you off.
It's like a quirk.
Yeah, it's like a quirk. It's like this weird sort of mindset that can catch people out. I've had that before where I'm like, I can beat players better than him, but this guy can beat me for some reason. Yeah.
Was
super weird.
Whilst this mine drop comes in, I've got to ask, was Pig ever one of those players for you?
Pig was a fantastic ZVZ player more than anything else, which is the scariest thing.
Oh.
So he got my number a couple of times, but I gave some back, don't you worry. But look at this. This mine actually going to do some sick damage.
Oh, nice pickup. 7 kills in total. Rare you would see that. And Mana actually a little bit of a lax control position there, but he was gearing up for quite a lot of Stalkers on this left-hand side, so...
Yeah, he's going to have to make up for this kind of damage, that's for sure. He's going to really start to apply the pressure. He was not expecting a second mine. It's kind of strange to see that happen the way it did. I guess just really focused on the aggression, as you said.
Will eventually die off thanks to that Nexus cannon towards the mineral line, but anyway, this pylon is going down towards the front. We did mention before that there have been some more aggressive Stalker moves. He sees the probe as well up there. This is going to be a big tell. There's no bunker towards the top. He's going to move his bio up there, knowing that this is where the assault's going to come from.
He's got a couple of Marauders, and those Medivacs are going to help out, but that choke point is not helping him at all.
Oh, no, not at all. You're totally right about that. And this is going to be difficult for him to deal with. The Marauders at the back are hardly firing. 1 or 2 of them there didn't really get that many shots off. And now, because Blink is off cooldown once again, he's getting really good trades here against the Marines.
Yeah, not too bad, but not finding the damage he wanted to. Maybe if he blinks in again and Heromarine not expecting it, he's got to stay at the top of that ramp and try and identify where these Stalkers are moving, but here we go.
And the blink forwards now, so he can focus down Marauders to start things off. Another one ends up popping out. It's going to be one coming from the natural, and blinks away, losing quite a few of his Stalkers, but limiting Marauder count.
Yeah, he's slowing down the Marauder count. We need to see more Medivac marker. You know, Mario would never let this happen. Calaris, he'd be picking him up, dropping him back down, and here we go. That's a lot of Stalkers this time.
And once again, looking for the Marauders.
There
he picks it up, he gets it away. Mario Incarnate, as we will have him moving back once again with those Stalkers, still trading off a little bit, blow for blow.
Blow for blow. I definitely favor Heromarine in these trades there. That's a lot of Marauders at this point. You know, the Medivac stayed alive. But he's trying from a different position now, going towards the natural, and we do see the Bioarmy still at the top of the ramp.
And they sneak their way forwards, focusing down a missile turret, which is going to force him to recreate that instantly, because now Heromarine is like, why were you focusing down my missile turret over everything else?
Yeah, it's a little shady, that's for sure. No, we don't mind weights. That's a good position for it too. There's no way you can snipe that with a Stalker.
Whoop. No. This is runaway time here for Mana by the looks of things. That's Bioforce now with its Medivacs and Stim. A little bit too eager to get things done. I mean, Stim was about halfway complete when he blinked up initially. If he'd have been able to kill off the Tech Lab, great, but never really got that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, if he does that, he almost wins the game, right? He's got so much more time to just contain, take that third base, go into Colossus, but you know, now he's lost a lot of Stalkers. He's pretty far behind in supply as well. He's actually going to be a bit of a scary hold. He doesn't really have the Colossus count yet, or the buffering for it.
No. And Heromarine looking to press his advantage for the most part. Just pushing on forwards, looking to limit this third base would be lovely. If he could get cancelled, that would be great.
Yeah, if he does that, he's so far ahead. And I think he will just get it. There's simply too much bio down here.
Yeah, not enough gateway units. Not enough gateway units to buffer for the one Colossus. Second one's just finished. Thermal Lance is about to complete. That will give him a bit more defensive leeway, but still, this is quite the strong force.
Yeah, we can actually see Heromarine just go for the attack here. You know, that's just not enough. He stims forward. There's only one sentry.
Yeah, not much to limit at all. Not much. These two Colossi here are going to have to make wonders happen, and they will be able to push this back for now. As we see Heromarine still just rallying across the map very, very aggressively.
Yeah, beautiful macro from Heromarine, just keeping on point. I feel like if he just kept the pressure going, he could very well just close it out here. He's so far ahead in supply. If he just keeps denying the third base even, that would just be enough. But big drop into the main could help too.
These Stalkers need to be active, need to be activating quickly, need to be shutting this down, but they're not gonna to start things. Those Colossi are very, very vulnerable. Oh, he tried to maybe move forwards, but he's just gonna kill off a few of the gateways towards the back. Widow Mines zoning this out, get themselves a Stalker kill or two. Just diving away.
Yeah, buying time. You know, probably could have had a better engagement there, considering the Colossus were so out of position for the Stalkers. But instead, you know, he's just picking away, doing some damage. The army composition right now for Mana is not that impressive. I mean, you got Colossus and Stalkers. That ain't going to do very well against a huge bio army, especially if it's consisting of mostly Marauders. Another drop.
Heromarine will continue to try and find angles to poke on. Thankfully for Mana even, he's trying to spot that out, even just with a probe on patrol.
Oh man, just outside the range.
Yeah.
He can just stim in there, go for that Nexus. Units are kind of nearby, or at least some of them.
Should be, as long as force fields are on point, should be fine there.
Is he going to drop on top of these?
Uh-oh. He realizes.
Oh, man, if he does.
This is a potentially brilliant move, because normally you're expecting the drop to come into the main base, and you leave your Stalkers there, but with all of this being divided up, he's actually looking to try and kill off this Nexus? What was he focusing down there?
I think he was originally trying to go for the Colossus, but those two force fields on the left side really blocked most of the army out. That was really nicely done from Mana.
Definitely. I think he got a pylon or so, but that's about it. The two Widow Mines are still there, so they could come into play later, and he does know that they are still there, so that's good. But you got like not much done with that kind of little maneuver. You've got to take your hat off to Mana. That was well defended. Yeah,
lesser Protoss certainly would have lost in that sort of match, that sort of fight. That's for sure. But still, Heromarine with a huge advantage in terms of economy production. His supply is still further ahead. It's just about him finding the right attack, I think, the right positioning for it, whether it's to drop on top of the Colossus, which I think might have even been a better move than just simply trying to drop on the side. Just do what Mario would do. That's my philosophy in any sort of Terran matchup, well, especially the TvP.
Yeah, you look down in your little wristband, it says what would Mario do, and then you know.
I think it's safe to tattoo that actually onto your wrist at this point. That's how good he is at the matchup.
Yeah, you could. That would be not wasted.
No,
you wouldn't regret that in the future as a tattoo.
I would respect that actually. Yeah. I'd certainly comment on that very positively.
What would Maru do?
What would Maru do? You drop on top of whatever's there. And Scan goes down.
Sees the army. Gonna load a few more Widow Mines into. Canna finishes up just in time, but that might not even stop all the damage.
He's not paying attention again.
Oh no, he's gonna lose his whole Widow Mine. Oh my god, 11 hookers go down. He almost lost his entire probe line there.
Yeah, that is ridiculous damage once again. And it's the last thing Mana needs. He's been in catch-up mode this whole time, just solidifying that third base and trying to get his army composition up to scratch. Going into Templar as well, so you need all the gas you can get. So the last thing you need is losing probes in your main.
We have seen crazier things happen between these two, though, in the past. They've butted head many, many times, and Mana has recovered from some insane positions. Heromarine at the moment, I'd say I'd give him a lead, but definitely not something that's unchangeable.
Yeah, I think if he waits too long as well, that's the biggest,
Yes.
scariest thing right now. It's
Yeah.
like you have this lead, you have Vikings as well. It's going to help out, though. That is a lot of Colossus, granted. But if you don't find that timing soon, Storm's going to be done. The army composition of Mana is going to be insane to deal with this Bio-Viking army.
Definitely is. For now, Storm does finish up. He's going to send some Zealots around to the right-hand side, but that third base should be able to buffer it with the well-orchestrated, little bits of Sim City that he's added on there. 4 ghosts.
4 ghosts. Oh, not a bad time for it. Storm has finished. He's kind of missed his window of opportunity before that would happen, and might as well wait in the middle of the map. I think dropping would still be a pretty good idea. I mean, we already see a 4th base in the bottom left.
And once again,
Funker.
it begins.
Oh, mate. A little bit of a breather for the players at the very least, right?
Yeah, a rough ride in the observer box so far as Funker falling prey twice in a single game. But for now, this is a really strong army. These Zealots, well, not going to do too much. Mana reacted, Heromarine reacted nicely to be able to combo.
man.
No. Does not want to let those storms hit as aggressively as he did do. Here come the ghosts to try and stop that. The Vikings have already taken a lot of damage, though. They're going to get cleaned up before the Colossi even all die off.
Yeah, that was a horrible position, but still a huge concave of Marauders are going to help out, at least for now.
Yes, the ones to the left-hand side kind of being choked up a little bit here, and they're filtering through to the point where the Colossi are still doing big damage. More storms come along forwards here as the High Templar will move forwards, and one Colossus got kicked by the other ones there. That was a bit crazy.
Bit of a nightmare engagement for Heromarine there, getting everything stormed, pulling back, leaving the Vikings there. I mean, they did clear out a couple of the Colossus, but that's probably one of the worst positions you'd want to have Vikings in, getting stormed on in the middle of the Protoss army.
Well, that 4th base on the way onto the bottom left here, Mana with that engagement has really swung things about. He's going to have himself +1 weapons finishing up soon. So it was never really a full 2 forge opener or anything like that. Just slowly, progressively getting up there, committing his gas to very important techs and having the AoE damage available when he needed it.
Yeah, certainly so. It was really up to Heromarine to find the damage before that happened, and he let it through, and those ghosts weren't in position to even stop these Templars storming. It's something he's going to have to really be on top of for the next engagement. It's very neck and neck now in terms of economy and army supply.
And I've got to ask you, Moonglade, what would
mate.
Maru do? Because right now, there's a lot of vision for the Protoss.
Well, this is a scary time. This is what Maru's been having problems with. So this is when the Tattoo's not going to help you nearly as much, Kalaris. You look at it and you're like, well, it's got to the stage of the game where the Protoss has the ideal army. They can keep shifting between Templar and Colossus numbers. So you have to vary between your Vikings and Ghosts, and you're going to have to try to find the ideal engagements. And one thing we haven't really seen from Heromarine is him dealing with these Observers either. The Observer's always been in place to spot the army coming, and look at that, one sitting there right now.
Yep, big Zealot wave going to head over towards the 3rd base, but there's plenty of bio there to be able to clean that up.
Oh.
Even a Marine at the front actually gets himself, it was the bunker focusing them down. That High Templar, very important to stop the storm coming in. Landing the Vikings, in fact.
A little bit of a mistake there, giving them free storms, every single one going down. At the front there, at least.
That was not a good position, unfortunately, for Heromarine. Slip-ups like this will cost you against Mana, because he's got... How many Colossi does he have at the moment? He has
3, at least with the army.
Yeah. Against Vikings, I mean, the thing is that the more AoE potential or anti-air potential that Mana has at the moment, the more Vikings he needs to deal with the Colossi eventually, right?
Exactly so, yeah. You'd want to be sitting on around 10, 12 Vikings for that number of Colossus, and you'd be adding it in as you see them come in. So, I mean, he gets a great scan off here. He sees the army composition. He knows what he has to fight against. He's going to have to split up pretty nicely there. And as well as a planetary, it's going to help out a lot. Still that Observer waiting there, though. I feel like that's always a bit of a blunder.
Scary times here for Heromarine. He is still maxed out, though. He did find himself room for that. He got himself comfort on the 4th base, but here comes the engagement once again. Time Warp's already been thrown down. Not really limiting too much. Second one's going to fall, and the storms to follow up haven't really caught too much. The Vikings on the right-hand side have gone uncontested to kill off all of those Colossi, and Heromarine takes a significant supply advantage and almost a full surround on this army.
Man.
He brutalized Vanna there.
Yeah, that was a perfect engagement, spreading out his army so well. The Vikings were left untouched during that whole fight, though. It's not over just yet. A lot of army still remains for Mana and big storms already.
You don't kill Protoss off that easy as the High Templars come in again for extra storms. The reserve High Templars were called forth into the battle. And they're now going to shut down quite a lot of that army. And Heromarine, they go blow for blow once again.
Yeah, back and forwards once again. Just overextending after that big engagement. Maybe he had to wait a little bit longer, get his whole army together, get the composition kind of fixed up and scan forward so you don't run into those Templar, which is always such a big threat, you know, in the late game like this. There's always Templar at every base just waiting with full energy.
That's the sign of a really good Protoss. When you have just High Templar littered everywhere, and even if you want to pressure a third base or fourth base, you suddenly have a High Templar coming in from a weird angle that you never expected to need to EMP at, and then you just get hit by a storm. And that's generally what you see from Mana in these late gaming situations.
Yeah, he certainly seems to be shining a lot more in the late game. When he's finally got to like 3 or 4 base, he can get a little bit more comfortable and have these late game engagements. And, well, it's going to be up to Heromarine to do something. I do like this drop heading towards the main base. It's going to put everything out of position.
He's reacting accordingly, though. He's doing okay. It doesn't really have any Blink Stalkers or many to his name here to try and stop that wave to the right-hand side. So, going to have to make sure he's covering his bases to the left, which he does spot, I think, with another Observer. So he should be able to hold on.
Bottom left is also going to be a little bit exposed as this drop goes towards the main base. A couple of cannons going to slow it down, and oh man, if he's paying attention, he is paying attention.
Get away from my base. Yep. And to the left-hand side, has to get away from the base as well. The 1 or 2 cannons that were there, bought some time. Jeez.
Oh man, yeah. Well, not finding a way in just yet, but he still didn't really take many casualties, just a bit of damage. So he can come back for more a little bit later. And he does have that, he's maxed out at this point, so maybe looking to move out as well. He wants to put everything out of position, wants to keep counter-attacking, multi-prong attacks.
I think one thing that is good here from Heromarine is that it can be all too easy once you lose one of those engagements in the middle, just kind of get steamrolled by a Protoss Death Ball that's just got so much AoE and power behind it. But he is keeping Mana on his toes at the moment.
Yeah, but look at this. Ooh.
Oh, those Stalkers.
Couple of angles. Yes, Stalker's very forward right now.
Yeah.
Does he find the EMP? Still 3 at the back.
Not too bad. He shredded through one of the Archons very, very quickly. The Storms, how well are they going to be able to land? Because right now the Bioforce is all over the place. Heromarine with this engagement, kind of all-encompassing, just coming from every single angle, is going to be able to push Protoss back.
Yeah, but he can't overextend again. Those Storms really took its toll. He does actually have a lot of EMPs left over as well, and snipes if he looks for him.
They are looking for him. They try and drop the Storm there on towards the Ghosts. Still looking for more units. He actually revealed some of those Dark Templars in that. Knows that they are there because of the scans as well. Just going to take this fight straight on here. Mana scrambling a little bit from all sides with reinforcements coming in slowly, but not quickly enough by the looks of things. Heromarine is also stimming forwards with all of his units. Another Storm hits. Another Storm is able to connect. And a third as well. But it's still not enough to stop him.
It's so close there. You know, all the units are in red right now. They're actually going to be able to take this base down, which is a huge win for Heromarine. But he's still going to be careful not to overextend, or, you know, another good couple of Storms could just end this army and give the momentum back to Mana.
How many High Templars does he have left available? I don't think too many more, as another base is going to end up falling. He's transitioning over towards a base towards the left-hand side. It is Heromarine here, so that he can continue his assaults from that path. Yeah. And this is fantastic here from Heromarine.
Yeah, he's playing fantastic. I mean, look at that supply lead at this point, 70. Another Storm goes down, but he's got the splits at this point. He's really on top of his splitting up his army, which is so important. Looking for that final engagement.
Yeah, as long as he continues those splits, you're right. He can easily overpower these positions. Drops the scan, 2 Marauders chase down, looking for just a High Templar snipe. Doesn't manage to pick it up just yet, but it's very difficult to slow down this kind of impending army.
Yeah, like the one thing Heromarine has to worry about now is splitting his army for Storms, because there's just not enough of an army to follow it up. He really has to worry about positioning. So it's such an easy engagement for Heromarine at this point. Mana's, he's going to try one more time by the looks of it, but it's a pretty lost fight at this point. Not much left over.
Yeah, he's crippling a lot of the economy now. Getting onto these Nexus, getting onto being able to isolate that base down to the bottom left-hand corner, which is the one little bit of lifeblood here for Mana, surely.
That's his last pretty much slice of economy, I guess, on this map. He's going to try come from behind. Not a bad army to fight with, but is it enough?
He's trying. Snipe goes down onto High Templar, doesn't quite kill it off, and at the same time, goes up towards the top. Did get a not too bad an EMP on one of them, but still there does 1 or 2 remain. They don't even have energy for the storms to really. They just managed to get it and try and drop it down, but it doesn't matter at all. Heromarine army is too well split up. GG, well played. Game number 1 goes to Heromarine after a very, very back and forth start in the series.
That was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed that one. So back and forth. It's great to see Heromarine taking the lead as well. After the stats are so stacked against him. But coming in today, he's looking like he's really in form with his TvP.
I think one thing that really goes in Heromarines' favor is maybe even a mental block that may have arisen in the past when it comes to Challenger League into Premier League, for example. Every single season when he'd make Challenger League, he would always get stopped at the very, very last second.
Yeah.
But now being able to break into Premier, does that do something as a player to just kind of give you that boost in confidence to play all the better and really strive to be great?
I think it would for sure, especially for someone so young. Finally getting past that barrier into Premier, you're full of confidence again. You're feeling great. It certainly would play a big part in how he performs today.
Well, he looked great there. He basically channeled his inner Jean-Claude Van Damme and was able to split well for the most part against the Storms.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, he did okay.
I like that. Is he German?
I'm not even
sure.
You
just
I just remember him doing the splits on the Volvo vans, and I was like, that's what I remember, man.
He's great. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his old movies. I think I saw him once in a new one. I forget what it was.
Well, we'll figure that out in the break.
I'll think about that one.
As we get back very, very soon for game number 2. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And I guess, to a certain degree, welcome back to myself as well.
Welcome back, Claris.
I wasn't here for Shenzhen before.
Oh, I guess neither was I. I was over at DreamHack that time around.
Good point. I was apparently there in small plushie form. They put me on the desk.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and they actually, I requested the plush that they got.
Yeah?
And I got it. So I was very happy to
You have to show me a photo of it later. I'd love to see it.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But we're going to be getting into game number 2 here very soon between Heromarine and Mana. And Heromarine, after that kind of game, got to be feeling pretty confident against Mana.
Yeah, I think so. He played a fantastic game and went the distance too, which is really, when you go head-to-head against a player like that and you go the distance and you win that giant macro game, you're really beating them in a good way. It's like that's the most satisfying way to win a game. You really test your skills in terms of every aspect. It's not an all-in game. It's not like this quick, easy win. I went the distance with this guy in terms of macro. We went so long, and I came out on top with just beautiful micro engagements. And
let's face it, Moonglade, not every Terran can really do that against late game Protoss.
Certainly not. It's one of the harder matchups. You see, it's kind of like a timer on a lot of these Terran players. Like they can do really decent early game harassment. They go into the mid game. They try and take the Protoss apart. But if they last to the late game and Storm and Colossus are out, it gets so much harder.
Yeah, it becomes kind of scrappy engagement. Sometimes you can have your entire Terran army just melt away before your eyes, and well, that just happened.
Yeah, that's just one straight Templar is all it takes, and your army's in half HP, man, just like that.
It can be difficult. All right, game number 2 about to begin here between Heromarine and Mana. If Heromarine able to take this, then that is quite the monkey off his shoulder. So we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner, it will be our blue Protoss. Representing Team Liquid, it is Mana. Looking poised. Once again, no stairs, just true focus. And then down to the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Terran. Representing Team Mouse Sports, it is Heromarine.
Yeah, I was a little worried that he might be a little too nervous after we got to see him do that little interview after the first series. And he was looking a little shaky, a little nervous. I was like, oh, this young man he's scared to be up here, but he's still performing, which is really impressive to see. And it certainly must be because of the hurdles he's overcome recently with the Premier League, and he's found this new confidence when it comes to gaming.
I think it's great for him to overcome those hurdles. I've been a big, strong supporter of Heromarine for a long time, ever since he joined Mouse Sports at the very beginning, and always felt that he could overcome those hurdles, definitely as a player. And he's slowly doing it. And we could see great things from him.
I think so. I think I did catch where he eliminated Rhett in Challenger.
Yes.
I was actually watching those games. I was so impressed with how he plays his Terran versus Zerg as well. Like I was like, oh, this guy actually has really solid mechanics and he's great positioning, which we did see in this last game as well. It's like he's actually he's becoming a fantastic player. He's still so young as well. It's great potential there.
And as you know, Sean mentioned before in the broadcast, the Rise of Nations is something that is definitely a thing here in Europe right now. Not only France, but also Germany. Both countries which have great stability in their ecosystems. Heromarine for the past year and a half has really benefited from that kind of competition here in the German scene. And it really shows. It really shows because he's a well-rounded player.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a country that has all these tournaments and constantly evolving, it breeds such great players. It's so happy to see France doing so well these days as well.
Yeah.
And Germany's always had that, a lot of powerhouses come into all their games that they play. And obviously the same with South Korea. They've had it for the longest. And
They're the daddies.
They're the daddies of the esports, and they produce the biggest monsters, that's for sure.
Yes, they do. All right, Moonglade. Well, what do you make of this already? Heromarine, 3 barracks very, very quickly to start off this game.
I like it. It's a good map for it. Iron Fortress, a big 4-player map. You do have a lot more space to work with, and with 3 barracks like this, you can play a very safe game. You're going to have a lot of buyer out for any sort of early harassment, any sort of Oracle play. The Marines are going to be in place for it. Same with Blink Stalker, which we did see last game.
Now, with Mana seeing this, does he change anything up? Does he kind of move away from anything in particular after seeing this kind of 3 barracks play?
Looks like it's gonna be straight up a Stargate to start things off. So it doesn't look like he's gonna change it up too much. He had a plan for this map, so he's gonna stick with it. Looks like he went for those early 2 gases as well, so he was already invested by the time he scouted it.
Now, surely with a Stargate play here, I mean, I basically asked that question in a loaded manner. Like, if he did want to go for a Stargate, it's a bit difficult against the 3 barracks, because surely there are going to be so many Marines out potentially to shut this kind of play down.
Yeah, that's right. And we can even see Heromarine take the safety to another level, put down an early engineering bay. Maybe he wants to throw out a turret as well, just for safety's sake, against perhaps a Stargate, perhaps anything else like a DT. It's always a possibility. There's that first Oracle. Already, sufficient Marines to at least defend 1 base, but it's always about, it's a bit harder when you got to defend 2 and you're keeping SCVs on 2 base.
Well, Chrono boosting this Oracle out. Second Chrono boost goes into it, so this is basically one of the fastest Oracles that you can have, but still against 3 barracks can be tricky. He's going to have to look for very, very finite angles here with this Oracle to make it work. Definitely doesn't want to be just suiciding it and losing that early on.
Yeah, doesn't want to get unlucky with where he's putting it as well. And yeah, we see a decent amount of Marines in the main. That's more than enough to help out with 1 Oracle. He's rallying the rest to the natural, just in case. It looks like he will have enough. He's going to have 5 by the time it gets there, but it is heading towards the main base.
Oh. So those Marines should be okay.
Oh, they're waiting. They're waiting.
They know. They know.
Oh, I see you.
Ah! And that poor little guy gets caught in the middle of all of this.
He's going to stay on top of his micro there. He doesn't want to start losing SCVs for nothing.
I mean, considering the openers, still really good control there from Mana. To get himself a few Marines and then 5 SCVs in total.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It's a nice start.
Still, is it kind of enough damage to really justify it all? It's hard to say. I mean, you've still got this Oracle on the map that's always going to be doing scouting for you, so long as he keeps it alive. Revelation, always a powerful tool going into the mid-game when Medivacs are up and running.
Whoop.
I'm loving his micro, actually. It's fantastic.
Yeah, doing well with that. Doing well. Even following things up with a Phoenix, too. So there is the potential that once Factory finishes up, and if, Widow Mines come into play, there is the coupling up of these, and it also gives him great defense against those Medivacs even getting anywhere near, right?
Yeah, it gives you the ability to chase them down as well. Let's see how many Phoenix he wants to commit to is the next question. Are you going to make 1? Are you going to make 5? 5 is usually a number that we see from a lot of players. It kind of gives you the ability to shut down a single Medivac drop that ever comes your way. If it's going to be 4 mines, that's easy to deal with. You're always going to have 1 Phoenix to start shooting the mines when they're all picked up as well.
For now, Colossus going down as well here. With Thermal Lance, pretty quick in a game against a 3 racks opener that if he went across the other side with Colossi this fast, is there any kind of timings that Mana could be hitting against Heromarine here?
Yeah, it's hard to say. This kind of map is... I mean, there's potential there. I wouldn't blame him either because, you know, this map is hard to solidify 3-4 bases on as a Protoss because they are so spread out.
Yeah.
That drop play does seem to be a lot more effective. I think with the addition of this Forge especially, we'll probably see Mana stay on 2 bases for a little while he upgrades armor and gets a couple more Colossus out, but I think he will look towards the 3rd base eventually.
Okay, well, still timing these things out, syncing them up, banking up Phoenix over towards the top left, top right even I should say, of his base. His probes also heading just towards the 3rd to eventually take that by the looks of things.
Yeah, looking to do it now. Not a bad time for it either. It's going to go up to Heromarine to either start the aggression, which looks like he will. Double
Does he
medivac.
spot it? Yes, he does.
Completely spotted out.
It's a good start. Adding on a Phoenix straight on after that.
Oh, Revelation perhaps going to make sure this medivac never surprises him.
And that's really scary because he doesn't know about the Phoenix follow-up, right? He doesn't know about the extent to which his opponent has committed to the anti-air.
It kind of makes you wonder if it should have been a mind game and he shouldn't have Revelationed it. You know, keep it flying on the map so these Phoenix actually have a chance to surprise it and take it apart. Instead, it's going to give him the option to drop all these Marines and Marauders. Look around the map a little bit, maybe look for a 3rd base.
Well, it's just slowing this down a little bit. Still knows exactly the positioning of this. He's gearing up his forces, and the thing is that this army might be just completely dead. He sees the Phoenix now, and he's going to retreat on out as Mana revealed those Phoenixes quite quickly. He could have continued if he'd have lured him in just a little bit further without revealing those Phoenix. That could have been Heromarine overextending, then picking up and just being caught off guard, right?
Certainly, sir. I mean, if you surprise an army like this with Phoenix and you're like your main army with Colossus, there's really no way it's going to ever escape, right? Like, you're going to be able to shut it down the medivacs and pick up the Marine Marauder leftovers very, very easily. Look at this, a big move out from Marine Hero. Hero Marine, sorry.
Marine Hero.
It confuses me so much, Claris, because I keep thinking of Marine Lord as well.
I call him Marine all the time.
Marine is easier, Marine's simple.
Yeah.
I like that.
But people sometimes get angry at that. I don't know why. Because he likes to go by Marine as well.
Does he?
Yeah, he's okay with it.
Right.
So
Well, here we go. This is an opportunity here. If he finds a decent enough concave, gets on top of these Colossus, it could be great engagement.
And with all these Phoenix here, you know, he sacrifices a little bit of his tanky potential on the ground. Doesn't really have that many gateway units with this. That's why this Marine Marauder Bioforce is trying to press up against those Colossi, but it still wasn't enough. Mana was able to control that well and threaten enough with the Phoenix to make sure that he wasn't going to get too far forwards.
Yeah, completely wiped out. Really beautiful play. And look at this, he can clean up like this, at least for a little bit, but there's a lot more units coming across the map for Heromarine.
Just pulling on back for now. But how much anti-Colossus does Heromarine have at the moment? I don't think he has that many Vikings.
Yeah.
And with the composition that Mana has created, not only did the Phoenix give him good defensive potential, but surely it gives him good potential against the Phoenix later on as well. The Vikings later on as well.
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, it means you got to focus fire a lot more. You got to have a few extra because you are going to be taking a lot of hits from the Phoenix. So you got to invest a lot into these Vikings.
Especially with the second star gate going down.
So he's going really hard with the mass Phoenix. I do like this. It might actually surprise him as well, but we are seeing 4 Vikings at a time. So Heromarine certainly isn't skimping out on the NEN this time.
And Fleet Beacon, all right. Mana's he is going full flight mode. He's basically turning on his phone. It's flight mode time here for Mana.
I like it. Might not have the same effect as what he desires there. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, it's looking like an interesting map to do it on as well. You know, you'd usually see it on a map that has like a little bit more airspace, a little bit harder to defend drops from. But he's just playing on a straight out, like very open map here on Iron Fortress, and it's going to be a big fight in the middle at some point. I'm sure.
I mean, you're an expert at this game, Moonglade.
I am.
You spend a lot of time on aeroplanes and have to turn your phone onto flight mode quite often.
I hate that.
How well do you think this is going to fare here for Mana against a reasonably normal composition from Heromarine?
I think it really depends on Heromarine, where he's in fighting and how he engages it. If his micros and his focus fire is certainly on point, because these Vikings are going to have to deal with the Colossus ASAP.
Yeah.
And then his rest of the army is going to have to be kiting as well. And it's going to be this kind of wonky fight that we don't see that often, but it really just comes down to how Heromarine is going to fight it, and yeah, I mean how Mana's going to engage as well. It's very it's a weird fight that it is certainly unusual to the norm.
Yeah, you don't often see it, but for now, 20 Vikings.
That's a lot.
That is Heromarine respecting the choices here of Mana.
Certainly so, and I mean he could actually start taking great putt shots at these Phoenix as well with this kind of Viking cat. Make a beautiful Viking flower and just keep tearing them apart. But I love this addition as well.
Yeah, slowly encroaching onto Mana's territory now.
He's going to force his hand as well. Here we go.
Heromarine is slowly moving forwards, and you're right, Mana has to do something. He cannot let himself get broken in. He actually focused down the Mothership core very, very quickly there. The Phoenix is going to start focusing down the Colossus, ignoring them all. He's got them queued up on that command, separating some of his bio back as well to make sure that once all these Colossi are dead, he can come in for the strike. And Heromarine, what an engagement from him, because there's nothing to deter this Bioforce now.
Yeah, beautiful play there. I love the fact that those turrets triggered the fight, and there was a fight that Mana didn't play.
GG, what a great showing there of Heromarine. Knew exactly how to deal with that kind of style that you don't often see here in the European
Certainly
scene.
Certainly so. Maybe Mana just... At the start of things, Mana showing those Phoenix a little bit too early, so he couldn't catch up that drop, build momentum from there, and then going into the late game like that, Heromarine just knew exactly what he had to do.
Yeah.
Just really forced his hand, forced a bad fight. When the turrets were going down, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that was really cool to see there from Heromarine, and he now advances on to the winners bracket final, I believe, where he will be playing out for. Basically, if you win the winners bracket final, you guarantee yourself a spot. And even if you don't win in the winners bracket final, you go down, and there's the potential that you can win that one, and then move on to the 5th place match because Rain dropped out in the 4th group.
Right. So he's got a lot of opportunities here. He's really put himself in a great place.
Definitely. I imagine we're going to be seeing more of Heromarine very soon in the bracket, and I imagine we'll be seeing more of Heromarine in the short future as we go over to the analysis desk.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. Here we are on the analysis desk, joined by Todd, and of course also Heromarine. First of all, before we get to talking about the games or the bracket, is it Heromarine or Marine? Which do you prefer? Which should we call you by?
I think Heromarine is quite common, and my nickname in the on my ESL profile is Marine. That's why it's called Marine in the bracket when I play an ESL tournament.
So is it you prefer Heromarine?
Kakaris calls you Marine. What do you have to say to him?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really care.
That's a very polite answer. You could have gone in a very different direction if you wanted to. Okay, so let's talk about that series then. You've gone up against a player that you've lost to twice in very important matches this year within the WCS and Challenge. It kept you away from where you wanted to be for a long time. You played him on stage. You played him in person. Must feel like a good victory for you to have here. Or no?
I would have preferred to win in the Challenger.
But this is still a good victory.
Well, of course, but there's also a loser bracket, and I might have to face him again, and then it's all for nothing, basically, if I lose to him in the loser bracket if I get there.
When you go up against Mana, because you've played him so many times over the years, how do you feel when you look at it and you're like, all right, here we go again, Mana again? Is it kind of like all right, this is the time I'm going to beat him, or is it okay, I'm playing against Mana again, I've had difficult results against him in the past? What do you think about when you see that?
I like playing against him because I feel like he's a very pensive player, like he has certain play styles on certain maps, for example, and that's quite similar to my play style. So I think our styles clash up quite well against each other. And you could also see that in our WCS games, like the series always were very close and ugly games, you might think, like, pretty scrappy when we play against each other.
Yeah, it's definitely fun for all the fans that watch you guys play. Todd?
In the second game, I was wondering, like you were playing as Phoenixes and Colossus, and he was going for the range on Phoenix. And then you went for this attack at the end. Like, I didn't even think you were going to kill him personally, but like, how did you feel about the game as it was developing and you were going for that big push at the end? Did you think you were going to win no matter what, or?
Yeah, it started off with Command Center first against one base Oracle build. So I already had a bit of a build order advantage. Then I saw that he wanted to take a quick third base with Phoenix Colossus, and he had already had 3 Colossus when I pushed, and that basically means he had to skip something like upgrades.
Yeah.
So I was very confident at that moment because I basically had to keep his gateway count low, so I tried to attack. It didn't really work, however my macro behind it was still working. I was able to make a big army, and I don't think it's very good to go Phoenix Colossus on Iron Fortress. Therefore I was able to find a very good fight position because he was aggressive since I made turrets. If I make turrets against his Phoenixes, he will never be able to attack me, and eventually I can kill him.
Well, to all the players out there that do those interviews and that give 2-word answers, this is how you do it. You're going to go up against Patience next. How do you feel about it? Have you shown everything that you got against Protoss, or do you feel confident?
I have some tactics still left, but I'm a bit weak against Protosses who tend to go for timing attacks, and Patience is one of them.
Well, what do you tell him, though? I'm just kidding. Continue.
It will not change much, I think, because I know his build orders, and I will not tell now, obviously. However, I feel like I can do it if I get to a mid-game position where I'm in a comfortable position where I can set up my 3-base economy, because I like to play macro against Protoss on certain maps, so yeah, I will try my best.
So decently confident?
Yeah, even though I lost to him quite convincingly in the Home Story Cup, I still think I can do better if I don't die to his timing attacks, so we will see.
All right, well, one last question then before we go to a break. Feels a bit like, for us at least, following you on the mainstream, a bit like King of the Hill. It's you're up there, then it's the next opponent, the next opponent, the next opponent, and you will be playing on the mainstream again for this next one against Patience. Is it better for you to be playing up here, or would you rather be playing back there? Does it kind of get you in the mood, get you in the zone to play up on stage here, where there's always a camera in your face and a microphone after you win?
I don't get nervous, so I don't really care about it. I even like it more than like a quiet environment, because I like to play on stage. It's not the biggest one, but yeah, it feels quite comfortable, so I feel great.
All right, well, best of luck going up against Patience. We'll let you get ready for that one. We are going to go to a quick commercial break before we go into that match. But of course, remember to join us on social media with all the hashtag IEMs, and make sure to send some tweets for us to read. And also, most importantly, if you've missed any matches so far, if you're just tuning in after watching the GSL or still watching the GSL, make sure to go to plays.tv, where we have all the highlights and all the matches there for you to watch if you've missed some of it. We'll be right back with the next game.